But we got to step in the costume. Absolutely.
Good evening, everybody. We'll go ahead and come to order, and we will start off with the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And our first order tonight is recognition and the Anchor of Excellence.
All right, we will do the Anchor of Excellence as a reminder. The Anchor of Excellence recognition honors certified and classified employees each month who exemplify dedication, professionalism, and commitment to our students, colleagues, and school community. This recognition is intended to celebrate the everyday excellence that keeps our district moving forward, including both highly visible contributions and the important work that often happens behind the scenes. The initial plan, starting this last month, was we were going to do one employee per month, but based upon the quantity of submissions, which is a great thing to see, we're going to do 2 per month for the remainder of the year, including tonight. So I will read the statement, and I will invite the employee up onto the stage to receive a custom-made plaque, and then we will take a picture and we'll move forward. So the first one is going to be Daniel Morris, certified staff member. Daniel Morris serves some of our most challenging students with patience, care, and unwavering dedication. He works closely with teachers and families to ensure students receive the support they need and build strong relationships with both students and parents through consistent communication. Daniel has created a space where students who feel overwhelmed can reset, regain control, and return to learning. This support not only benefits the individual student, but also helps classrooms remain focused on instruction. He leads a team that supports students from kindergarten through 5th grade and often goes above and beyond, staying late or coming in on weekends to ensure every student's needs are met. Through his grace, humor, and consistency, Daniel makes a tremendous difference in the lives of the students he serves. Daniel, please come to the stage. Thank you. Thank you. Next, we have Miss Christy Baker. Christy Baker is someone who works tirelessly behind the scenes to keep our school running smoothly. She starts her mornings early, ensuring classrooms are filled with substitute teachers, and communicates critical information that helps the day run effectively. In addition to those responsibilities, Christy serves as assistant athletic director, coaches, and is always willing to step in wherever help is needed. She is dependable, supportive, and a trusted resource for both staff and students. While her work may not always be visible, the truth is our school would not function the same without her dedication and commitment to excellence. Christy Baker. Nathan Sweet is not here tonight, so our final recipient will be Emma Fraley. Emma Fraley models excellence every day, both inside and outside the classroom. She creates strong relationships with students and fosters a welcoming classroom environment where every student feels safe, supported, and challenged to succeed. Her engaging instruction and attention to student needs helps learners grow academically and personally. Beyond the classroom, Emma contributes in many ways, from coaching to helping plan activities that build positive culture across our school. Emma is always willing to lend a helping hand and greet others with a smile, and she truly represents the spirit of Ira pride. Emma Fraley.
next item up will be the board report from the superintendent's report.
All right, this was a busy month with a lot of travel to different conferences and different director meetings. The biggest one to highlight was all of our participation in the KSBA conference. It was a much better conference than what my exposure to that has been in the past. Very rich learning experiences, some things that opened our eyes to some of the ways that we can work more effectively as a board and some of the ways that we can move our district forward. One of the most beneficial things that I attended is some of my embedded training that I do as part of my new superintendent cohorts, keeping track with our financial updates each month, making sure that the communication lines are effective and open and honest, in addition to some ways that schools can best prepare themselves for the growing presence of AI in schools. So a lot of different professional learning opportunities for that I am taking in and applying with our tech department and administration as we move forward. So just a overall great experience there. The KDC Board of Directors meetings are always great and provide me with a lot of resources to be able to do this job effectively. And the SESC is great for all of our backyard neighbors with Rockcastle County and Estill County, et cetera. So great opportunities to continue to learn and develop and move forward.
Any questions from the rest of the report we provided? All right, hearing none. We will move on to the financial report. Nathan Sweet can't be with us here tonight. He's out ill, so instead of our normal monthly report, we will have a review of the district financial audits. And we're joined by Denise Keene, who is our auditor.
Thank you. I don't normally need a microphone because I tend to speak loudly, but I appreciate being here. This is my first year of doing your audit, and it was a much better experience than I thought it might be. So that's always a good thing. It's a 92-page report. We're not going to go over all of it, but I'm going to hit the highlights. And if there's anything that I don't cover that you want me to cover, I'll be glad to do that. Or if you have questions, feel free to stop me at any point. We'll start on page 5, which is your opinion letter. It is an unmodified opinion, and that means your financial statements are presented fairly in all material respects. And we use that terminology because we don't look at every transaction that goes on in a school district. We test transactions. And so we can't be 100% sure that everything is perfect. And quite frankly, none of us are perfect. So even if we did look at every transaction, we probably couldn't say that. But it is a good report. You already are aware of some of the issues that you have in regards to deficit, but we will go over that. And then I'm going to give you my opinion of the progress that you have made this year. So I'm excited about that. Let's look then on page 15 at some of the numbers. This is the report that gives you all your assets and all your liabilities. It includes your buildings, it includes your sports fields, it includes buses. It also includes all your debt. So in addition to the typical debt that you have, we have that crazy pension liability that we have to pick up, and our OPEB, which is other post-employment benefits. So if you look at the next to the bottom line under the first column, you'll see a negative $6 million. All of that is from that pension and OPEB liability. So without that, we actually would be positive when we look at our total assets and our total liabilities. You're not going to have to pay that pension and OPEB liability tomorrow. You don't even have to budget it. Basically, all you budget is your CERS contributions, which continue to go down as far as a rate. So I don't particularly like this statement because I think it's somewhat misleading, but the federal government says we have to include it, so we do. But let's look at the real numbers on page 17. And you'll have to give me a minute to get there. So these are the numbers that Nathan would typically present to you on a monthly basis. And if you look at the third line from the bottom in the first column, which is your general fund, you'll see that your unassigned fund balance is a negative 1.3 million. I'm sure that's not a surprise to any of you. The one that was more surprising to me was your bank overdraft of 1.6 million. And so you have a write-up that we'll go over in a little bit because of that, because you're really using restricted funds to cover your general operating expenses, which is really not allowed. So, we need to try to correct that as soon as we can. And then we'll go to page 19. Page 19 is where we record all of our revenues and expenditures. And you'll see, again, I'm primarily focusing on general fund. The third line from the bottom, we have almost a $1.3 million expense in excess of revenues for the year. And when we get over to our budget comparison, you'll see why that occurred, because the budgeting really budgeted a large deficit for you. So one of the things you need to really work on with your budgeting and monitoring on a monthly basis is that you don't exceed those revenues that you're bringing in each time. And then we're going to talk just a little bit about food service, which starts on page 21. You do have $150,000 in cash in food service. And again, all of this is as of June 30th, so it's varied some now. That was a decrease of $102,000 during the year, but $80,000 of that was for equipment. So when you really look at just normal operating expenses, you really only had $22,000 in excess of the revenues. Now, food service, because it's a proprietary fund, requires you to pick up part of the pension liability and part of the OPEB. So don't really look at the balance sheet because it's not, again, very realistic when you think about it. So we have notes from 24 to 58. We won't go over those. I did want to call your attention just a little bit to page 63. By the way, I love doing school districts, in case you can't tell. One of the things I'm really excited about is the fact that our pension liability is starting to go down. When the legislatures decided to approve gaming in Kentucky, they said that any profits from that would go toward the pension liability. And you can see that just sort of start taking effect. Oh wait, I said 63, it should be 62. Sorry. So on 62, if you look at the CERS pension liability, we went down from 3.3 million to just a little over 3. But you'll see back in 2020, it was actually 4.5. So we are beginning to make a little progress on that pension liability. Let's go to page 75, which is our federal fund. Did you say 65? 75. 75 and 76 is where we list all our federal funds. And this year, the total is actually on page 76. It was $2.5 million. Some of that was COVID money. We still had $156,000 that we had left over. But if you look at last year, the 23-24, I'm still in 25. 23-24, you have over $3 million in federal funds, and in the fiscal year 23, you had 3.7. That's because of the extra COVID money that you were getting. So that has continued to decrease. And then I want to call your attention to page 83.
Excuse me, can you just,
Sure.
yeah, back up, I was still trying to find the year here. So it's on.
75 and 76 are the pages that we're looking for with our federal dollars.
Okay, and this is the year, end of year, June?
June 30th, 25, yes. Yeah, we're 8 months behind, and I might just explain that a little bit. The federal government issues a compliance supplement for its federal programs that we have to actually test. Typically, that's out in May. It came out this year on November 28th. We were not allowed to issue any reports until that was out, and then we did our testing. So this is the latest I've ever done a report to a board. So I apologize for that, but that wasn't something that we could actually control. So any questions on 75 and 76?
Were you bringing out good news? That's what I want to put a little star by. Which section were you bringing out?
So on 76, we had $2.5 million in total federal dollars, and 156 of that was still COVID money. And I was just commenting that that's gone down from fiscal year 23, which was 3.7 million, but over $1 million of that was COVID money. So we've really reduced the money coming in from the federal government because of that.
Do we still get to keep it, or are they gonna fly that?
Pardon?
Do we still get to keep this 156,000?
Oh, yeah, you spent it, and that's why it's on there. So you used it during your fiscal year 25 as part of the expenditures. Uh-huh. So page 83, we have two findings that are considered to be material. One is excess of expenditures in excess of budgeted revenue. And so we're gonna go back and look at our budget here in just a few minutes. The other was that large negative balance in the general fund cash. In order to continue to pay for just your general operating expenses, you were using capital funds, which are very restricted, and construction funds, which are restricted. So that's not allowed according to state law. So that is something that we want to work on. But while we're talking about, let's go back to our budget. So I'm gonna make you go back to page 60. This is the budget you had when you look at your working budget back in September of 24, okay? If you look at the third line from the bottom, you actually budgeted a 2.1 deficit. Now, we did a whole lot better than that. We only have, a 1.3, so we certainly made some strides in that. But when you're starting out with that kind of budget, you certainly can't expect you're gonna make all that up. You really did well. You almost cut it in half, so that's good. Then we have management points on 89 through 92. Those are less than the findings that we talked about earlier. Those aren't things I think you need to be overly concerned about, but do review them. You really should, as a board, monitor that you're trying to correct those. But I want to say that, I'm sorry Nathan's not here, it was a pleasure working with him. I have two primary expectations when I'm working on an audit. One is that I get information on a timely basis, and Nathan was great about that. I mean, within 24 to 48 hours, I usually had my questions answered or the information that I was looking for. The other is to have information as accurate as possible. Now, we need to work a little bit on that, but Nathan was new, and I think he learned a lot. So I'm excited to look forward, if you decide to hire me next year, to work with him again. He also had some very good staff working with him, and so I look forward to seeing the progress that you guys made. I know you've made some very big decisions, probably some hard decisions. I did ask Nathan to send me balance sheet through January. I looked at that, it's looking much better. So I think you're moving in the right direction. I don't think you can correct that in 1 year, but certainly maybe in 3 you can. So I'm excited for you. Be glad to cover anything that I didn't cover that you want covered. Be glad to answer any questions. And if for some reason, I know you haven't had a lot of time to review this short report, my phone number's on the front, and so is my email. I'll be glad to answer your questions at any time, so.
Questions from the board, or?
Appreciate your optimism that we're moving in the right direction.
I believe you are. I've been very impressed with what I've seen.
Can I just clarify one piece? On page 82, the non-compliance material noted, is that then what follows on 83?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
just making sure I was
Yes.
following.
Yes, that is what that is.
Perfect, thank you.
Uh-huh.
And thank you very much. Appreciate you being here with us
Thank you.
today.
And I'm going to let you continue, but I'm going to.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And our next item would be the attendance and enrollment report this evening.
All right, so enrollment for this month at the current rate we are at is 888. And our attendance rate is at 91.84. Considering we had a really rough time in February, we're really starting to get back to where we need to be or closer to where we want to be.
Can you repeat that again and say where you want it to be?
We want to be around 95%.
And
We're at 91.84.
thank you.
We seem to continue losing students each year. That number keeps going down each year based on population growth. Do we have any idea of what we can do to get out and maybe beat the bushes and see if we can
Yeah,
draw
we're-
some of these kids or what?
We're doing everything we can to drum up more enrollment and putting our story out there for people to see what the great things that we're doing in our schools.
I know years ago when I was on the board, '70s, we went door to door just to identify ourselves and let people know that we have a good school system, that type of thing. If they had any questions about, Berea, why are you sending your child to Madison Southern or even Madison Central? We got a lot of information, We did get it back up, but it's slowly going back down.
Right.
That's my concern,
How's the
Sorry, that was me. We doubled it.
We're fighting. Oh, no, it was me, sorry.
Oh, we all have questions.
Okay.
I just wanted to know how the attendance challenge is going
Well,
and how that's been received.
the first week or so, we're still fighting through illness, but in the last week or two, we've had, for the classes that are in full participation, about 93, 94% involved. This week, we started our Sweet 16 bracket, and we'll be starting the consolation bracket. So even if a team didn't win last week or in the last 2 weeks, they have a chance to come back and be part of the championship round at the end of our break there, or right before break.
I'll just add to that is that today was across all three schools collectively was our highest attendance of 2026. So since January 1st, today was the highest day. It was at 94, 93.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Just wanted to commend you on the new text messaging to families on Sunday evenings, the personalized text messages. That's right on the cutting edge of the research of what we know is working in terms of family engagement and attendance. So kudos to Berea community. And I know know that it takes an extra step or two to make sure that the child's name is in those text messages, so appreciate the effort. And
Once you figure it out, it's pretty easy, so.
it's still an extra click, right? And I'll be looking forward to hearing in a year, you know, what kind of data you're seeing from having started that kind of messaging campaign.
Right. All right, thank you very much. Appreciate your time this evening. And we will move on to the school reports, beginning with the elementary.
Good evening. I usually don't need these things. I'm so loud and obnoxious. Real quick, just want to kind of give you a snapshot of kind of where we're at. Our attendance is trending up in a great way. We've almost cut it in half. A lot of absences and tardies, so we've eliminated that. Not eliminated, but literally cut it in completely half. We had our Read Across America week prior. We just finished our book fair. So we've been in really high gear of celebration mode with our kids. We'll have our third 9 weeks Treasure Day this Friday to celebrate those kids who had really good behavior and attendance. We had our student engagement, or our family engagement out on Thursday. We had 136 families, which is the most that they've had in a long time, show up for family engagement, spend time with our teachers, spend time with their kids. Pictures are all over the website if you look at them, but we had a really great time. It was a great 2 hours. Kids really responded, families responded, so it's something I think going forward will only add more and more people as we go along. We did our growth checks to kind of we looked at our winter diagnostic and kind of looked at where we're at academically based on that December diagnostic. We did a growth check 2.5 weeks ago to kind of see where we think we're going to be when KSA happens. Right now, based on those winter diagnostics and based on the growth checks, we're right at about 62% proficient distinguished. We have identified those kids who are in that window that we can kind of push to that next level, and our teachers are having conversation with those students. We are getting ready to have individual meetings with our 5th grade kids to get them ready for KSA. We will do our final diagnostic for the spring the week before spring break, because I want to give my teachers time to get that data, get those results, and say now, coming back from spring break, we're going to get a full court press towards KSA and looking at that data and saying these are our strengths, these are our weaknesses, these are the things we're going to try and target and pinpoint so before KSA starts. We'll do a writing scrimmage on Thursday of this week for our 5th grade, because they are the grade that we held as part of their accountability model is the writing. So we will do a writing scrimmage to kind of prepare those guys for KSA. My intention is to have one more of those before KSA starts. Other than that, we're having a lot of fun. I mean, it's a blast. I mean, the kids are happy, teachers are happy. We had a lot of celebration with the Read Across America and door decorations. Miss Freddie won the district competition. However, she did not win the school competition. Miss Daugherty won that, so there was a little bit of argument there. But other than that, it's been a pretty good experience. So, any questions? Yes, ma'am.
Could you describe briefly what the writing scrimmage is?
Well, what we do is we take those previously released items that KSA has released to the public. We pull those and we try and we will give the same writing sample to our entire 5th grade. And then what we'll do is once we do that, we'll flip. And this 5th grade teacher will look at that 5th grade teacher's writing and we'll do a contrast and compare. And then we have our PLC, we'll take that data and say, okay, these are the things we want to focus on as it pertains to writing. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. Writing statewide is a big deficit area. It is something that we are going to get. We've already had conversation in our site base that we are going to adopt. The plan is we're going to adopt a writing program for 4th to 5th. We offer writing K through 3 now. The 4th and 5th grade will be added this summer. It will be up and running. Our intent is to purchase that, assuming site base does approve that. I think they will. So next year we will be offering writing K through 5, all grade levels, and hopefully my intent is when those kids leave 5th grade, I can go to Ms. Caldwell and say, this is where our kids are. Walking into your middle school, this is where you're at. And that way she's going to give her a chance to look at any loss of instruction, any loss of understanding comprehension. They can try to take it on and run from there.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Anything else?
Congratulations.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
And we will move on to the high school report.
Good evening. As the great Roger Trussell says, he counts our days every day. We're down to 41 days. So we're pretty excited about that. But with all of his historical knowledge and his brain, we always ask him each morning, are we at 41 or are we at 42? But as something I'm very proud of for all of our students, last year we ended our college readiness at 82.5. We are currently at 85.7 college readiness for our seniors this year. So they have worked very hard. We have less than 10 students that are not college and or career ready, and we have one final push where we're giving them that college readiness test, so we're excited about that. We are continuing with our goal setting, and that is filtering also down to the middle school. We have completed individual goal setting with our juniors. We're currently working with our 8th grade students, and then we will also individual goal set with our 7th grade and then our sophomore students who will all be taking the KSA. When we do that, it's a 5 to 7 minute, just individual one-on-one. We have a team of adults that work with our students, and we just talk with them about, like, what are your personal goals? What are your professional goals or career goals? Where do you see yourself? We let them look at their KSA scores and see where they want to be, because that is just right around the corner. So I think that individual goal settings are a very important piece. Also, we recently had our archery showdown with our faculty and staff against our students. I did not do so well on that, but I was with the #1 archer, Claire Garrett, and she just does an amazing job. So she was actually, we flipped roles, and I was the student and she was the teacher, so it was really nice. But that was a really good event for our faculty and staff and students. And then also our archery went to state for the first time this year. And they actually just fell short a few points from going to nationals. So we're looking forward to what that will look like next year. I didn't get a chance to mention his name, but Joseph Cottle was on the list for a highlight for last month. He is a 2018 Berea College grad, and he's currently working on his principalship. So we need more of those coming up. We're excited for him. Already talked about the college readiness. We have a lot of things going on next week. We have our club day next week. Also, EKU is coming to serve our students and get them registered for dual credit. And we're also hoping to have a higher collaboration with Berea College to get our students more involved with college dual credit classes there. And I have met with Miss Ellie Hogg and a couple other stakeholders, and it's kind of that small school issue for both schools. We're trying to figure out how we can sync our schedules and we can get more of our students involved in dual credit Berea College. We did complete our KSA Blitz, which is very similar to the writing scrimmage, where we had our students to do a math released item, 6 through 12, and then we provided feedback through the math departments, and that was very productive for our students. Very excited. Miss Witt, show us that t-shirt back there. Tomorrow, for the first time, our Access Mental Health team is having a parent night, and we're focusing on mental health of our parents. We're going to have so many different workshops. I'm so excited about this tomorrow. Workshops regarding self-harm, resilience, anxiety education, attendance, eating disorders. And this is geared for parents, but we also have activities and games that are going to be set up for students tomorrow night as well. So we've sent it out on ThrillShare. Just invite all of our parents to come. It's a night where parents can really just think in terms of how they can support their children from a mental health perspective, which is very important in order for them to, to be successful academically. We are also ramping up for our award ceremony and graduation. You wouldn't think it's that close by, but we have final exams coming up. We have AP exams, our state assessment, and just many, many things every single day. We have a great team of people that's helping and just pitching in when we need help, and we're just very thankful and grateful for that. So, any questions? All right. Thank you. Oh, you have one? I'm sorry.
I was thinking when I first saw the t-shirt that this is mental health for the parents.
For the parents, but it's also a way that it's educational workshops that can give them the tools to be able to help their students, help their children, and to work with them. And it's also for families and self. So it's been a really nice thing.
Great idea, thank you.
All right, thank you.
And we now have space for audience comments. If anybody would like to address, please take the microphone.
Can I do the microphone? Because I am soft-spoken. Hello. I know, I feel like I can talk to kids all day, but when it comes to like people my age or older, I'm like, so bear with me. So I'm Courtney Parrish. I'm a 4th grade literacy teacher here. And I just had some points that might be beneficial for you all to know, the powers that be. The first thing is that in 4th grade, and I would say like upper elementary, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, where we're using our Chromebooks a lot, at least in 4th grade, we're noticing a lot of students not using them wisely. And I know that middle school and high school does have Go Guardian, and I was just thinking that would be something that we would love to have. If that is an availability this year or next year, that would be something that helps us monitor Chromebook screens. You can see every student's screen and be able to turn them off if we need to, block websites if we need to, and make sure that students are good digital citizens. So that would just be something that has been on my mind and I would love to have for our students and for our teachers as well. Just one less thing that we don't have to look and see behind each screen. And the kids are tech savvy. They know how to hide those desktops and tabs. Also, it would be awesome to provide more professional development, maybe district-wide, on writing, as that is, like Mr. Stepp said, that is something that we see even nationwide, that writing has been kind of to the back burner, I would say. Like, no one really thinks about it that much. It's kind of like, let's write, and that's it. So it would be awesome if the district could provide some professional development for teachers on some effective writing strategies. I know Hegarty, UFly, iReady itself, I'm sure there's other programs as well out there aligned with the science of writing and goes with everything. So that would be very beneficial. And then the other thing was, I don't know much about admin and how long admins stick around. I just feel like there's a lot of turnover when it comes to principals, especially in elementary school. And so we talk about enrollment of students and why they leave. Is there any discussion on why admin leave? And how do we retain admin? How do we, get one person set in that role for more than 2 years? Because it does affect the students as well as the teachers, because you're having to learn a whole new process. And I will say Mr. Stepp has done an amazing job in stepping into this role. Like, he really has. And I feel like he's there for the teachers and the students. But it's just, that's a lot on him to have to do, but also just anyone in general. I feel like every year we're having to get used to a new routine, kids getting used to a new authority. So just something to think about, how can we as Berea community retain our admin? And then lastly, just wanted to give a shout out to our 5th grade teachers, Kim Mills and Heather Rader, who are just the dynamic duo with a class of about 29 to 30 students, with a lot of behaviors, a lot of academic needs as well, and they are doing a phenomenal job, and I just wanted to shout them out as well. So that's all.
Thank you very much. Seeing no one else, thank you, Courtney, for your comments this evening, and we will move on to the adoption of the agenda.
So moved.
I second.
All those in favor? Aye. We will move on to the business and consent items. There are a number of them, as always. The minutes from the last meeting, financial reports, which were provided and have a chance to look at, although Nathan wasn't here this evening. A request for hardship early graduation, idea admission and release committee chairpersons. I'm going to go ahead and note those just for folks. The following people are being asked to serve as administration and release committee chairpersons: Gretchen Wasson, Megan Bruner, Jennifer Cornett Hodson, and Damian Stepp. Also on the consent items is the summer feeding program with Berea College, which we have done in the past, and then the superintendent's travel request, which was also added to the consent items. Any need to call anything out on those, or are we good to move forward with a block vote?
just want to express appreciation to the superintendent reviewing his finance report, his careful use of funds on behalf of his travel. Really appreciate that.
Do I have a motion to approve?
I so move. Second.
All those in favor? Aye. And items for board consideration. We have essentially 3 on the agenda for this evening. The first is the amended 2025-26 district calendar. We've been asked to approve it as amended, requested by Mr. French and recommended by Dr. Needs. Any questions about the amended calendar?
The difference is the makeup days from where we close. So today was supposed to be a day off, that is now makeup day. And then April 3rd was supposed to be a day off, and that is now makeup day as well. And so the end of the year got pushed back for our professional development days and staff work days. No impact on the last day for students.
Happens every year.
Kentucky weather.
Kentucky weather.
Hearing no further questions, do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. And then we have an update to supplemental to pay for the 26 salary schedule. There's an order to address behavior and attendance in addition to the supplemental pay section of the salary schedule is proposed, adding a line for detention coverage that wasn't there previously. Mr. Sweet has recommended it, and it's been requested by Mr. Sweet and recommended by the superintendent.
Yeah, pretty standard, our code of conduct, and we actually have a pretty restricted district policy that says that detention is to be enforced for students that have so many tardies or unexcused absences. We actually don't have any way to provide detention because we don't have a way to pay for anybody to cover that. So we needed to have a line item to pull that. Did a regional comparison and pulled it as the same rate as what anybody else offers, which is essentially half of the daily rate. So $22.50 an hour for detention coverage.
And you say we've not had this before?
There is one, there's an ESS daytime waiver that a site-based council is allowed to provide for on a very small amount, but for us to be able to do it district-wide, we would need to have it as an addition to our salary schedule.
So this essentially puts us in compliance.
I thought we did it somewhere.
Yeah, we looked, it's just not been on there. There hasn't been any line item for that.
I mean, I know we had it. Had to have it.
Yeah, and if you remember, one of the things that was found in the previous report back in February and March was paying people when there wasn't a salary schedule. So this is really just putting it officially on the salary schedule that's posted and available.
You need a motion for that?
Yeah.
So moved.
On the flip side, does this go along with creative, innovative ways to minimize detention being needed? Because we have this other series.
Yeah, this doesn't change anything with any of the discipline practices, and the code of conduct and district policies, those are things that we can review. Just wouldn't be a best practice to revise our policies and procedures in March, but we definitely would take a deep dive into the code of conduct for addressing discipline and tardies and things, because there's all kinds of arguments for, is that an effective way to curb tardiness and truancy rates? But I think just getting us in line with the procedures that are in place for this year, this is the right call.
So can we just couple together then, what you were just saying about looking at those policy practices, even though we're setting this in place?
I think we can commit as a board to putting that on a future agenda. That would be the way to handle that, and then just vote on the policy here.
That's fine.
Yep.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I'm in favor of us getting in compliance with what we need to and also looking at it, since I don't think there's a huge amount of data out there supporting attendance and detention.
Maybe it's detention, most schools have some sort of detention policy in place. Is that okay with you?
Yes.
Okay.
I believe I had a motion to approve already. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor? Aye. And I also need a motion now to go into closed session to discuss personnel and the superintendent's evaluation. All those in favor? Aye. And as we are now back in regular session, are there any comments from board members this evening before we head to adjournment? Sure, hit me with the rules again. Do I have a motion to return to regular session?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Board member comments.
I do have one comment. I know Ms. Parrish had to leave, but just wanted to commend a teacher for coming to share some of her concerns with the board, and particularly around administration turnover, which we know is a national crisis, and really look forward to digging into that some and how we can support our staff through admin constancy.
Have nothing. Thank you.
I appreciate the anchors ceremony. It's a nice visual, and looking forward to hearing more. Also, in addition, the last meeting where we had a student, maybe two, come to the mic and share some of their artistic work. If we could do a little of that at every meeting, that would be really nice.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.